In today's Leeds news, aggressive push for Brandt, improved Shay Charles offer, Leeds make keeper contact, Academy EFL draw, no Elvedi move, and rumour mill story on Lassine Sinayoko. Friday 26th of June, Jer here at the Leeds View with your Leeds United news. I hope you're all having a really good week and enjoying the sunshine and getting ready for a busy weekend. We will have a transfer talk video out tomorrow to cover off some of the stories over the weekend and some that are progressing every 24 hours at this stage. So important to keep our fingers on the pulse, and we'll get you some more detail on those heading into tomorrow. As I said yesterday, the nominations for the Football Content Awards are out. There is a link down below in the description. There's also a QR code there if you want to scan that, and thanks to everybody who did nominate us yesterday. It's massively appreciated. I'm sure everyone and their mother will be applying for it this year, so there'll be a lot more competition than there was last year. But yeah, if you can, that would be massively appreciated. We've got a lot of stuff to get stuck into today. Some clarification on some transfer stories and rumours that have been floating around, as well as some breaking news this morning. But we'll start off with the news around Julian Brandt. Right, so yesterday evening, according to Team Talk, Leeds United remain locked in talks over an ambitious and aggressive deal to sign current Borussia Dortmund attacking midfielder Julian Brandt. Look, as we know on this situation, there's plenty of top-level interest in him, and a move at this point is still being labelled as ambitious more than any reality in it. And it does feel like it's the hope that could kill you in this situation. But this deal has always felt, or this move has always felt, like one more on hope than anything else. Atletico Madrid, who have been strongly linked as favourites for him, did sign Alejandro Grimaldo yesterday. He does operate on the opposite side of the pitch to Julian Brandt, but there are similarities between the two and what they can offer. Just got to look at their assist rate in the Bundesliga to get that kind of insight. So that could maybe open the door for Leeds to go in and get Julian Brandt. Team Talks say that the Leeds United owners, the 49ers enterprises, are determined to build a squad that can compete in the top half of the Premier League next season, and Brandt aligns with that vision. If you go back a couple of months ago to the 49ers strategy document that was linked, the goal was 15th place last season. You take Daniel Farke's ambitious comments into consideration here as well, and maybe Leeds United decided to push that on. 15th place next season was the goal. There's also, according to Team Talk, some belief that another German could get involved in this in order to try and speed the move up, and that is Jurgen Klopp, because of the Red Bull connection, his role at Red Bull, and their minor ownership of Leeds United. However, Team Talk do later on go on to say that there's nothing that actually says that that is the case. It's just believed that he might, because he tried to sign Julian Brandt twice while he was at Liverpool. So there's that. At the moment, this is all there is. There's an aggressive move. They're still trying to get a deal done. Nothing more than that. They want Brandt's signature. It will be a hell of a start to the transfer window if they were to get him for nothing as well. But we'll have to keep an eye on this. I still think this will be an incredibly hard deal to get done. Hell of a deal if they can. Let's move on and talk about the breaking news this morning on Shay Charles. So this was the reason we're a little bit later today than we normally are. There appears to be more movement now on the Shay Charles deal and potential move to Leeds United. Saints Extra, who are very well placed when it comes to news from Southampton, they have tweeted literally in the last half an hour that Leeds United have submitted an improved offer for Southampton defensive midfielder Shay Charles, and that offer is rumoured to be up to £25 million. It's a meaningful escalation from the £20 million offer that went in last week, and it's likely closer to what Southampton are looking for. There were some rumours that they wanted over 30 million. Given the situation in the Championship, the need for player sales, it's unlikely they're going to get that kind of a fee. But Saints Extra and the Daily Mail today are saying that the gap in valuation between Southampton and Leeds has significantly narrowed, and Leeds are serious about trying to get this one done as soon as they can. Charles, as we know from last week, is keen on a move to Leeds United, and that helps. And these sources, one from a Southampton perspective and the Daily Mail's track record when it comes to Leeds United transfers, especially since the 49ers took over, would say there's some strong credibility in this, but we'll need to keep an eye on the local media's reporting of this. The offer as well of up to £25 million suggests that this includes add-ons, there's staggered payments, and designed not to impact too much on Leeds United's total budget for this summer's transfer window, which could be important. And again, depending on what happens with that midfield situation, does someone leave the club? It will be an interesting one. But yeah, it does appear right now, not a huge amount more detail just yet, but we'll cover this in more detail tomorrow on Transfer Talk if and when more information comes out about it. But as of right now, credible enough sources say Leeds have increased their offer for Shay Charles. Let's move on. Another transfer move this morning, and it's a goalkeeper. And one of the areas that Leeds are still believed to be looking at this summer, despite Carl Darlow's contract situation, is a goalkeeper. Fabrizio Romano this morning tweeted that Leeds United have contacted Derby County to inquire around the potential price tag of Swedish goalkeeper Jacob Widell Zetterstrom, who is currently playing at the World Cup with Sweden. Romano's tweet is pretty clear on this. He says that Leeds United, Frankfurt and Wolverhampton Wanderers have all made contact with Derby County to inquire about the asking price of Zetterstrom. And at this point, it's not a rumour. It's coming from Fabrizio Romano. He's very rarely wrong, although he was wrong on Romano Schmid to Leeds United in January. But in general, tends to have his finger pretty much on the pulse, whether we like him or not. That is a fact. Zetterstrom's got 1 year left on his contract at Derby County. He made 33 appearances last season. He kept 7 clean sheets as Derby County finished just below the playoff spots. And Derby would like to hold on to the keeper. However, given the fact that he's got 1 year left on his contract and there is interest in him, a sale could happen. At this point, there's no formal offer gone in from Leeds or any other club. It's just inquiries. But Leeds could be working through a short list at the moment to see if they can get the right profile, the right price, right availability if they decide to have to move for a goalkeeper. But there are interesting elements of Zetterstrom, who was very good against Leeds in the FA Cup last year. He's had a very good season, and the details important on this one as well. It's a credible source. He's 27 years of age. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and he's 6'5" in height. We're looking at some of the 49ers golden tickets when it comes to a transfer signing. When you look at his form last season, one of the metrics, the XGOT, the goalkeeping equivalent of XG, was plus 0.27, which is very good for a championship goalkeeper, and considering they finished 8th and conceded 59 goals, not necessarily on his table if he's got an XGOT of that level. He's a sweeper keeper, relatively commanding in his penalty area, big and physical lad as well. And if you want to look around and see what his standout attributes are, shot stopping is a huge one, and his distribution is a massive one as well. And you go back to what Leeds wanted last summer from a goalkeeper. They wanted someone who could play out from the back. Daniel Farke wants that high possession build up from the back. Lucas Perry didn't give us that. Zetterstrom's got an 88% passing accuracy in his own half and a 63% passing accuracy once it goes longer into the opposition half. So really, really strong stats there, albeit within the championship, and that should be pointed out. He did miss a couple of months last season with an injury, but that was last year. Players get injured. That would obviously be picked up in a medical should Leeds decide to progress any further with this one. But at the moment right now, it's saying that there is an inquiry gone in. Nothing more than that at this moment in time. It'll be interesting to see what a likely price tag for him would be as well, and can Leeds get a bit of a deal here. But a keeper coming into his better years and involved in the Swedish national side as well and at the World Cup. So could likely take a while to get done if there was a move to happen. Anyway, let's move on. Yesterday, the Leeds United under-21s found out who they will play in this season's EFL Trophy Group stages. And the idea of an all-Yorkshire group didn't exactly materialise. Well, with one exception at least. Leeds have been drawn in Group G and will take on Barnsley, Fleetwood Town and Oldham Athletic in that group. Not an easy group for the under-21s by any stretch of the imagination, but it does give them a really strong challenge, which from a developmental perspective will be massively important for them next season. So best luck to the lads. We'll cover them on watch-alongs over on bigup.com. Right, one to probably start to remove. And last week we were linked again with a move for Borussia Mönchengladbach centre-back Nico Elvedi. But reports now coming out of Germany are dismissing that story. Bild were the first outlet to run with this story last week. And as we said last week on Transfer Talk, Bild just aren't the same credible source that they once were when it comes to transfer stories. They're far more tabloidy now than they once were. And Rhinish Post, who cover Gladbach at a local level, have poured cold water on this story, and the details on this are worth paying attention to. Despite the reports that Leeds have either bid or are about to bid about £7.5 million for Nico Elvedi, Rhinish Post are clear on this story. No official offers have been received by Gladbach from Leeds United or any other club right now. Gladbach say that they don't want to sell Elvedi this summer. They plan on keeping him, and he's at the World Cup, so he's not talking to anybody about any potential exits. There's no moves expected from Elvedi till at least after the World Cup, if a move happens at all. The story in Germany around the interest from Leeds United and Nico Elvedi has significantly cooled in the last 7 days. It has been picked up in the UK locally by a lot more aggregator sites that have started to pick it up, and it kind of just feels like it's taking its time to drip feed its way through to those outlets. But right now, he doesn't fit what Leeds United need this summer. He's a right-footed right centre back. Leeds have plenty of them. Unless somebody was leaving, this doesn't feel like one that Leeds need right now. It feels like an unnecessary distraction and likely a waste of money if they've already got players in that position that can do the same job. I like Nico Elvedi. I think he's a very good centre-back. Leeds have got 4 right-sided centre-backs right now and only 1 left-sided centre-back. So if they're going to be strategic, as I said they were, right now, Nico Elvedi doesn't fit. So as of right now, there is nothing in this story, and the local media, like the way people do on a Leeds story, have poured cold water on this and dismissed it. That can obviously change. We'll see what happens after the World Cup. But right now, nothing between Leeds United and a move for Nico Elvedi. Let's get into the rumour mill territory and Lassine Sinayoko. As per usual, take this with a healthy pinch of salt, and we'll explain why in a couple of seconds. French journalist Sébastien Denis, who covers Ligue 1 closely for outlet Foot Mercato, has exclusively reported this morning that things are moving, as he has put it, for Auxerre forward Lassine Sinayoko, and that Leeds United and Brighton and Hove Albion are among several Premier League clubs who are rumoured to have approached Sinayoko's representatives already. Sinayoko is 26 years of age, is a Mali international, and has spent his entire career playing for League outfit Auxerre. Last season he got 12 goals and 4 assists for Auxerre, and 6 of those goals came in his last 8 games of the season, so he did show a very sharp rise in form towards the back end of the season. He's predominantly a central striker, so would compete in those areas along with a Dominic Calvert-Lewin or a Lucas Meche. Has had a couple of appearances on the wing, but as I say, primarily a central one. He's got 1 year left on his contract, and that's the obvious hook on this one when it comes to Leeds. Auxerre are said to not be in a position to afford to lose him next season on a free transfer. There's no conversations around a new deal, so a sale of Sinayoko is expected this summer. However, Leeds and Brighton are described as being active in this situation, but active with representatives, and that's the important line for me on this. The journalist Sébastien Denis is a relatively credible journalist in France. Foot Mercato, when it comes to transfer stories, don't have an overly accurate track record when it comes to international transfers, so that needs to be taken into consideration as well here. And the key line here: active with his representatives, several Premier League clubs are interested in him. Kind of feels like the player is going to move this summer, and the agency are very active in trying to drum up interest in him. You stick a lot of Premier League clubs on it, starts to drum up a little bit of interest. And we saw that last year with the Italian journalists and Leeds and other players. So right now, pinch of salt territory for me with Lassine Sinayoko. We'll keep an eye on it. I think he was linked a few months ago as well, so we'll see if it develops into anything more serious. But folks, for me, that will be it today. Massive thanks as always for supporting the channel. There's a QR code for the Football Content Awards if you want to nominate us, and down below there is a link as well. And we'll be back tomorrow with transfer talk to give you a bit more of an update on what's happening around the Shay Charles story specifically, and other transfer rumours, Julian Brandt as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, get some sun on your face. I'll talk to you later. Bye.